Hello, good morning, and welcome to Insight Pages. Now, on Insight Pages, we dig deeper into the pages of the most topical issue for the week. And what we do is that we engage the right guest, we choose the right topic, we engage the right guest, and ask them the relevant and critical questions that we believe would elicit the right answers for you, the viewer. And that's what we do here on Inside Pages. My name is Ntiamoah. It's always a pleasure coming your way on a beautiful Saturday morning like this one. But what's the topic for today? Now, the concept of free speech has come up big time for discussion. And what are we looking at? Why are we talking about this matter? Now, top of this issue has to do with what is happening to what the issue has to do with the arrest and the detention of Oliver Barker-Vormawo, who is a key convener of the FixTheCountry Movement. Now, we do know what has happened to Oliver. Oliver has been arrested by the police, and that is in connection with certain comments or a comment that he made on Facebook. Now, we ask the question as to whether or not what Oliver has done, whether indeed he actually crossed the line, or it is the case that the government or the state is coming hard on persons who are exercising free speech. That is one of the issues that we'll be looking at on Inside Pages this morning. And also the Member of Parliament for the Madina La Quantanang, and I'm talking about the Honourable Member of Parliament, that Francis Xavier Susu, appears to have stirred the honest nest. Now, the Honourable Member of Parliament had said something which has to do with the fact that some judges are political in the way they discharge their responsibility. And so this morning I want to ask, who are these political judges? What really is their motive for being political in the way they go about in discharging their responsibilities or their duties? And really, are they aware that their code of ethics does not support that? So we'll be looking at that as well on Inside Page this morning. My name is Ntiamoah. Stay tuned in. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, I'll be introducing my guest. Welcome back. This is Inside Pages. My name is Ntiamoah. Let's now do the reporter's block, after which the conversation starts.
The market women complain of incessant increase in the prices of local commodities, which they say is gravely affecting business. A box of tomatoes, for example, which was delivered to the market at 1,500 Ghana cedis on Friday, was selling at 1,800 Ghana cedis as at Wednesday morning. Half a kilo of pepper was 20 cedis just 2 days ago, but is selling at 25 Ghana cedis. As of Tuesday, salmon that weighed about a kilo, selling for 15 cedis, is now 16 cedis. 6 cedis the day before could purchase a kilo of imported chicken, but its price had gone up by 2 cedis. 8 fingers of plantain was sold for 5 cedis, but after 24 hours, the same amount could get you 5 fingers. A 50-kilogram bag of sugar had seen a 5 cedis raise in the price too in less than a day. For flour, the traders were certain its price increased by 20 cedis every week. About the price of margarine, the traders could just not understand. As to what could be the reason for the consistent hikes, they could not say for sure, despite their varied opinions.
Things are very hard. Just last week, I bought a box of tomatoes for 1,500 Ghana cedis, but today it is sold for 1,800 Ghana cedis. I think it is due to the closure of the Burkina Faso border.
Both traders and consumers lament the resultant effect on their budgets and livelihood is damning.
Six-month-old little Victoria has been at the Rich Hospital for almost 4 months due to severe pains. Doctors have cleared her since 3 weeks ago to be discharged, but her family is unable to pay her bills. Her mother, Alice Povey, recounts how it all happened on one Sunday morning.
After bathing and dressing her up one Sunday evening, I was heating water for her elder brother. When I went out to throw her bathing water away, she crawled to the kitchen and accidentally poured the hot water on herself. When I got to the kitchen and saw what happened, I immediately rushed her to a man from hospital and was told to go to another hospital because the burns were severe. We then went to Dodowa Hospital and was given first aid and subsequently referred to Ridge Hospital.
Alice Povey told us she spends 20 cedis every day on transportation from Dodowa to the Ridge Hospital.
I spend 20 cedis on transportation before coming to the hospital, and sometimes we spend 10 cedis on feeding, which is most times difficult to come by. We sometimes sleep on empty stomach. My husband has to borrow at other times to be able to buy medication for the child.
Narrates how she and her husband have been catering for their daughter.
It was almost Christmas when the incident happened. My husband, who is a tailor, had to use money paid to him for Christmas dresses for medication. Due to that, he was attacked by his customers. He is currently working as a laborer at a construction site to make ends meet for the family.
Anak Asmani is a nursing officer in charge of Ben's units at Ridge. He added the nurses sometimes support Alice with food and money for drugs. Alice is appealing to well-meaning Ghanaians to come to her aid so she can take her daughter home. Little Victoria, after some time, will have to undergo another procedure of about 5,000 Ghana cedis to separate her fingers. She currently needs about 7,100 Ghana cedis to settle bills of her first surgery. Anyone who is touched to support Little Victoria can donate through mobile money wallet 050-9098-313.
Manual typewriters, which are largely ignored in a fast-moving cyber world, serves as a tool in processing court documents. They often work on change of name, affidavit, change of ownership, amongst others. Even though computers have replaced typewriters in homes and offices, there are still some people who rely on it to produce the needed documents for their clients. I'm in town today to interact with such people.
The century-old typewriter is a companion of many, mostly old men. Tagged in a corner, they execute their work in excitement. The business provides incomes for many homes. I am welcomed into the tent of Gabriel Kwaku, a commissioner of oath, who offers first to teach me how to operate the typewriter.
Currently trying my hands on the typewriter to see how easy or how difficult is it. So as you can see, I'm struggling all right, but then I'm trying my best.
Gabriel says the use of typewriters demands more intelligence.
The challenges you get is whether you understand English, because people come make various kind of requests. You see, he wants a petition, for instance, to the presidency. You have to be good to be able to write a petition for someone to take to the presidency, you know, or to the Attorney General, or to even the Chief Justice, or the IGP, for instance, Inspector General of Police. Okay? Those are there. Like in my case, I have been visited once by a Kwadonko, the popular political aspirant, presidential aspirant. You know? Yeah, so that's it. And I did a petition for her for the Chief Justice. It's not everybody who is able to do that, you know, because representing people's views on paper is not easy. So you have to be well educated. Yeah.
Justin Kwaku, a commissioner of oath, who uses a computer and a typewriter to ply a trade, said
Although there is limited number of people patronizing their services, there are still some documents which the court wants it done with typewriters.
Typewriter business now is no more like the way it was, because now a computer system has become very pressing than this typewriter typing. And again, to the court, let us know that we should not type every document with the typewriter. Sometimes because of the typing mistake, to avoid typing mistake, to be able to see everything clearly, and they don't allow us to use the typewriter to type certain documents.
Gabriel Kwaku expressed worry over quack commissioners of oath preparing documents for people.
Some of us have been appointed by the Supreme Court because our appointment is signed by the Chief Justice as a commissioner for oaths. The Chief Justice signs your appointment. But there are people who are not commissioners for oaths, but they also kind of pilfer, the work of the commissioner for oaths by doing affidavits and declarations, and then they will look for a commissioner for oath, go somewhere, get it stamped and sealed. Those are the challenges we have.
Though some people have discarded the use of typewriters because of the arrival of computers, other commissioners of oaths like J.K. Otu said they are still using typewriters due to lack of electricity. Though commissioners of oaths who operate around the Tema station in Accra expressed divergent views on the operationalization of typewriters, they all have plans of moving on to the new system of technology in future.
Very much, Joe, for joining us or for staying tuned into Inside Pages. So, as I did indicate, this week the concept of free speech as enshrined and guaranteed under the 1992 Constitution appears to have clashed with our responsibilities as citizens. And the question is, where do we draw the line? Now, as you can see, the state's apparatus are coming down on persons that it deems to have been irresponsible in the exercise of their free speech. Now, top of this agenda, or top of this controversy, has to do with the arrest and detention of Oliver Barker-Vormawo. Now, he has been charged with treason felony and has been put before court. Now, this is based on a comment he made on Facebook. And of course, that's what we've seen in the court document we have with us. Now, he's expected to spend about 2 weeks in cells. Now, remember, he's on hunger strike in protest of his detention. The FixTheCountry campaigners have been there to visit him. We're told he's only been living or surviving on liquids. That's very, very sad. He's surviving on liquids. Now, they've been there, they've visited him, and they have visited us here too. I mean, this is not a prison cells, it's not a police cells, but they visited us here, 3 of them. Very vocal, very, you can call them, determined and committed members or conveners of the FixTheCountry movement. They've joined us to have a conversation about all that has played out so far. From the comments that Oliver made on Facebook, the reaction of social media persons, and the subsequent arrests in a very Gestapo Rambo-style manner at the Kotoka International Airport when the young man touched down, and the criticisms that have greeted the approach by the police. The police had to come out to issue a statement to then explain that they were the ones who arrested him. Remember that the persons who arrested Oliver were they were in plain clothes. They didn't identify themselves. They didn't tell the young man why they were arresting him or why they had arrested him, etc. We had the FixTheCountry campaigners coming out to tell us that this is what happened at the Kotoka International Airport. The police then came out to say, no, that's not what happened. We told him. So it became the word of the police and that of the Fix the Country campaigners. We'll look at all of that here. So, but the bigger question for us has to do with the what now is going to happen to the Fix the Country campaigners with all what has happened to a key convener of the group. Whether it's going to slow them down or they're still fortified, they're still determined, they want to get this country fixed regardless. So we'll have that conversation on Inside Page this morning. And then the other issue has to do with the Member of Parliament for the Medina La Quantanan constituency, who appears to have stirred up the honest nest with a comment he made recently about political judges. Political judges. Now, the MP last Friday, at the Ntiamoah demonstration, I'm talking about the last 2 weeks, so it was last week Friday, at the Ntiamoah demonstration, said that if you are a judge and you've been put there to exercise your responsibility in a fair, in an impartial, in a neutral manner, and you do not do that, note that there will come a time when you will leave the scene with your political paymasters. What does the MP mean? He's actually had to issue a statement to clarify that point that he made, but that, according to the Association of Magistrates and Judges, is not something that they will entertain. And so they say they would file a complaint with the General Legal Counsel to get him to come and respond to some of the queries that they have for him. So that's another conversation we're going to be having on Inside Pages this morning. Let me, first of all, welcome Felicity Nelson. Felicity Nelson is a member of the Fix the Country campaign. Good morning, Feli. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Moro. How are you?
Sorry about that. I call her Feli because she's a personal friend as well. Felicity Nelson is a convener of the Fix the Country campaigners. Let me also welcome Benjamin Darko. Benjamin Darko is also a member of the Fix the Country campaigners. And then also the big man himself, Ntiamoah. Good morning. And I like your outfit. Is this how you dress all the time? Oh, I see. What's the idea? Okay. Okay.
As you have put in European fabric on the market.
Okay. Okay.
I always have to make sure I also promote our fabrics.
Okay, that's interesting. So you're so basically promoting made in Ghana goods or dresses or wares. That's great. That's good to know. But how have you guys been? Let me start with you, Ntiamoah. How have you been? And I say you, as in you personally, and then also the group.
It has been tough.
Okay.
It has been so sad. But, we keep on hoping for the best. And that is what it has been.
Okay. So I'm being told that you can take off your, how do you call it, your nose mask so that we can see you clearly. That's fine. Yeah, Benjamin. Yes, Benjamin will do that. Yes. You're saying that it's been tough, but that's not on the personal level, but at the group's level.
All levels, because if you are dealing with the issue, the issue takes it personal. Mm-hmm. I mean, being tough and not being tough, to go to all corners.
Right, right. So basically your point is what is happening to the Fix the Country that's in your group is obviously having a toll on you as a person.
It's so tough and so sad.
Very tough and so sad. I'll get you to expatiate on that. Let me come to Benjamin Darko. Benjamin, is that the same feeling? Okay. How's the feeling been like since the arrest of Oliver and all the issues that have played out?
I was a bit worried because we couldn't locate where he was.
Okay.
But after we got to know where he was, I think I was a bit calm afterwards.
Right.
As an individual, I would say I was a bit disappointed in the structure of how police issued the arrest and how they carry it out.
Right.
And also how our judicial structure is as a state.
Okay.
So I was a bit disappointed. I think I went 2 days without sleep because till then we couldn't locate where Oliver was. And we had to dispatch a team that was scorching through Tema to find the exact station that he was.
We'll get into the details of exactly what happened because then from there we can move to talk about what happens next. But for now, I just want to find out whether since the arrest of Oliver been thinking, should I continue with this campaign? Should I stop? Am I safe? You know, things like that. That's why I ask, how are you doing as a person? I mean, what's been going through your mind since everything happened?
If anything...
Have you had family members, for instance, advising and cautioning you to stay off?
No.
You haven't had that?
No, not at all.
Okay. So families are urging you on because they believe in what you're doing?
We were raised by a generation who I always tell them that the generation that gave it to us were a bit timid.
Right.
But with the sense of ours, we are more dynamic and more, let me say, we are a bit more direct than our parents.
Right.
I've not had any complaints or any issues, both at home or from friends, stay careful or anything, because they know we've gotten to the stage where when we keep quiet, this state is going to deteriorate further.
Right.
So someone needs to speak up. Also, to touch on as a movement or as a group, we are still focused on issues that we're pursuing. Before this arrest came in, we're pursuing multiple cases. Some of them were in the starting processes. And then we're also pursuing some RTI cases, which are still being followed up. And within the next weeks that will be coming, we'll be pushing out more requests for key information that the Ghanaian public should know and should have access to.
Okay, so basically you're focused, you're determined,
Exactly.
You're committed.
Exactly.
You are not going to be sidetracked by all that has happened.
Exactly.
I see. Felicity Nelson, what has been going through your mind all these while? I mean, since this Oliver thing came up. And credit to you, actually, because some of us wouldn't have known that Oliver had been arrested until that evening when you texted me and you went on social media to tell the whole world what was happening with Oliver. And I want to say kudos to you. You broke the news, actually, and the other media houses had to actually quote you because you that stay a member of FixTheCountry campaign is saying this. What has been going through your mind? I mean, how's the feeling like since all of this has happened?
Okay, so I was definitely very anxious when initially we didn't know where he was. I knew he'd been arrested, you know, because it took about 25, 26 hours before we actually could locate him. So in the night, let's say the day he was arrested around 5, and, you know, we're looking for him, we didn't know where he was, his phones were off, there was nothing. When we woke up by like dawn, the police had issued a statement saying they had arrested him. But if you can remember, in that statement, they didn't actually say where he was, it just said Tema Regional Command. So we're still confused. We had people going out to all these stations. Like we went to about 15, 20 stations under the Tema Regional Command.
15?
Yes, to look for him. And we'd actually even been to that Ashaiman police station and they said he wasn't there.
Wow.
And then around 6 p.m., around 6:30 p.m., they called the lawyer saying he was there. So over 24 hours, you don't know where he is, whether he's killed, whether he's alive. You know, you're so disturbed. Like, and Oliver's actually, we've been friends for a very long time.
Okay.
We were friends pre-FixTheCountry. We've been friends for like 8 years.
Okay.
So this is someone who I've been friends with for a very long time. So my anxiety was like skyrocketing. In terms of how do I feel now, am I more determined? Absolutely. I'm definitely more determined. Do I get people sending me messages like, be careful? Not really close family members, because if you're in my family, you already know. Like, and I've been doing this FixTheCountry thing we started last year, May, and I've been an activist in the feminist space and other spaces, and I've always faced a lot of opposition anyway, public opposition. So I'm not very worried. People, if you know me, you shouldn't be surprised that I'm doing this. If you know me and you already know, don't come in, I don't want your advice. However, are there worries, is there a basis for their worry? Absolutely. You know, I am definitely more careful when it comes to my security. I'm definitely more wary. It's not like I take these things for granted. I'm not taking them for granted. But the reality is that some of us have to make sacrifices if we want to see a better Ghana. So regardless of how I'm feeling, whether or not I'm a bit cautious, I still have to keep going because we all can't be silent. And the more we speak, other people will feel more empowered to be able to speak. But if they see that the minute everyone stands up to speak, and let's say Oliver's arrested and let's say we retreat, then nobody's going to come up after us. But we need to show people that, you know, as young people, we need to take charge. We have a voice and we must use it. Even if they try to silence us, we must be intentional about using our voices. Do you get the feeling sometimes that the essence of the FixTheCountry campaign has still not trickled down? I mean, some people or some persons
still do not understand really what the philosophy behind this Fix the Campaign movement is, because we've had some people say,
yeah, definitely.
You know, did you get that feeling?
Oh, I hear that from people all the time, like, oh, you know, we don't even know what you're about. But I think there's people who are intentionally ignorant, and there's people who choose not to understand. They don't want to hear, because we've become so accustomed to hearing, when it comes to issues, being fixated on MPP, NDC, and not focusing on the substance of issues, that when you have a group that is non-partisan, you don't really know what to do with them. Because it's easy when you can say, oh, MPP said this, NDC said this, I support MPP, so I agree with them. But when you have to critically think for yourself, make your own decisions about something, it becomes difficult. And then as a society, we've grown up to not question. You know, as children, we're told, hey, a child doesn't talk when an adult is speaking. We're told, hey, don't question, don't be questions. You know, all of these things are cultural. So you get adults who don't ask questions, because if you have kids who you teach them never to ask questions, never to, you know, to stand up for themselves, of course they're going to be adults who don't understand people who want to stand up for themselves, because for them, for some people, they feel like, well, Ghana's not even worth sacrificing yourself for. So why are you doing this? Like Ghana, where we are, we're always going to be, Ghana's always going to be damaged. There's no point. And I think if you really want to understand what Fix the Country is about, you should read. You know, there's so much material out there. There's material on our pages. There's news. You don't have to always follow the media, because they can distort us. But we have a website, we have a Facebook page, we have social media pages. We're on media. We've done a lot of media engagement. If you want to know, anyone who doesn't know what Fix the Country is about right now, especially educated people, they are intentionally ignorant.
Right.
But people who, let's say, for example, can't read or write, I can understand that maybe we've not, like, we need to do a lot more work on the grounds to get to the masses. So like the people in the markets, the youth on the streets, these are people that we do need to do more to engage, for them to understand exactly where we're coming from.
Now, in Ntiamoah, we have had in this country groups, pressure groups, who would tell you that they are also engaged in a similar exercise, but not necessarily the same. We've had CJA, we've had Occupy Ghana, we've had a whole list of them. And what has turned out to be the case is that usually when there's a change in the political regime, these groups go to sleep, you know, and so some persons are also looking at the Fix the Country campaign in that similar light. That, look, you're just doing this because perhaps you just don't like this regime. It's got nothing to do with fixing the country. And that the Fix the Country movement is only some kind of a ruse, you know. You are like regime changers. As soon as this regime is over, you will also go back to sleep. And that some of you are actually, you know, agents of some political actors. I'm sure you're not hearing this from me for the first time. What do you make of this perception that some persons have?
Do the right thing.
Okay.
That's to us. And for Fix the Country, I mean, we have been rejecting a lot of political affiliations and stuffs. And it has been, I can say, one of our records. And let me say, since we started all our demonstrations, I mean, there have not been a day that we engage ourselves in bad stuffs or violence or, you know. Yes, so Fix the Country, no dear. In fact, there's no way we are going to, listen to what someone will say to discourage us. You know, we are living in a country whereby all the time some of the youth are being pressured to do one or two stuffs, as you were saying, by these political leaders. And Fix the Country have said it, and we keep on saying it. And in fact, all that we do, all that the things that we are tackling, Saglemi projects, these stuffs and stuffs, you know, all that we are tackling are stuffs that clearly showing that we really want the country to be fixed. And we are not going to stop. In fact, it has really started this time, and the fire keeps on burning this time. Just because some people think we are being pushed by opposition.
And you guys are pawns in the hands of some
but it's not like that. It's just because that this time around the hunger or the poverty is more than as it used to be. Are you getting my point? Yes. And things keeps on increasing, you know. Yes, and the people are not free.
Right.
So as they are not free, they are confused. They don't know what to do. They I don't even know how to put it, but the truth of the matter is the people have accepted Fix the Country.
Right.
And all right.
Yeah, sure, you want to come in?
Yeah. And also, the thing is, just because this very idea that, let's say, if 5 years ago someone was not speaking when NDC was in power, then suddenly MPP comes into power, they lose their right to speak.
Absolutely.
That is completely wrong, and it's ridiculous.
It's neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there. So you have to ask yourself, the person, if I'm saying that people are struggling to get access to water, the water is not flowing through your taps, you shouldn't ask, is Felicity an NDC member and an MPP member? You should ask yourself, is water flowing through my tap? Is it true? Is it valid? You know, we need to stop having conversations which are always centered on their parties, because it's actually a distraction from the issues. You know, you have an issue about right now, people are struggling to get water in their houses. Most people have not had water flowing for months in their houses. Then you come and you bring an MPP person, NDC person, oh, we did this, we brought water here, we didn't bring water here, you didn't do this. And then there's still people at home without water flowing through their taps. So we need to focus
on the issues.
We need to focus on the issues. So if someone says today that I am an NDC person and this is about regime change, because a lot of these issues, they transcend these parties, because our issues with, let's say, unemployment didn't just start with the MPP government.
No.
Our issues with water didn't just start with the issues with, you know, indiscipline, corruption. These things transcend. So both of these parties are both guilty, and Ghanaians are actually very tired of them playing this football with us. So it's easy for them to dismiss you and say, oh, it's because you want regime change. But the reality is, one of the things we're asking for is a new constitution.
Right.
So what's the new constitution got to do with new regime change?
Right.
If you're asking for a new constitution, because we realize that even if you have the NDC in power today, with the current constitution, it does not give them room to do the right thing. It gives them too much room to do the bad thing without consequence. There's very few checks and balances, and that's exactly what encourages the impunity we see today. So this is not an MPP NDC thing. We need to really continue to focus and not allow ourselves to be derailed. And this party is using you, that party is not using you. If you hear about something, if you say there's youth unemployment and it's high, ask yourself, is it true? How many young people in your household? How many people in your area do you see that are unemployed? Is it true? Is it valid? Not, oh, MPP did this, NDC did that. No. How many young people are unemployed? What is the rate of crime in your area? Ask the questions, be critical. Let's focus.
Are you a pawn in the hands of some politician, Benjamin Darko? And Felicity said, no, she's not. Ntiamoah said, how about you? Are you being used by somebody to change the regime that we currently have?
Not at all.
The politicians aren't calling you, NDC people aren't calling you to say do something for them?
In everything that happens, pressures, external pressures, they do come. Fix the Country has always remained resolute in stating time and time again that we are not affiliated. In fact, we don't want to do anything with any political party.
You don't want to be partisan.
Exactly.
Because what you're doing is political, but it's not partisan.
Yes, to the point that we keep on rejecting offers to even form a coalition with parties to even pursue similar issues.
Have you had such offers?
Yeah, they just ended. It was the NDC demonstration that happened.
Yeah, they asked you to join them, and you said you don't want to be part.
Yes. We don't want to send out any tones that are going to silence our own voices from talking in the future, because we've seen that affect Occupy Ghana. You have AFAG, you have CJA. They all good movements that started with good motives, and they wanted to fight for a better change in the country. But as soon as they were affiliated to one party, they lost their unique voice. We don't want to lose that. So we are not going to kowtow to any pressure that will come from any political party. Yes, what we are doing is political, but we keep on saying that we do not want to toe the partisan lines. And we've made sure that that is something that is a part and parcel of everything we say, to the point that we tend not to blame one regime and leave the other. Like my colleague was saying, most of the issues we face in this country are issues that transcends one political party or one regime. It started all the way back from our constitution. Yes, so you look at some key things that happens, like the fact that even law surrounding arrest of citizens in Ghana here is not that clear, and sometimes the police abuse that they need to show warrants.
It's part of the things that you think the state must fix.
Yes, because the police then can decide what determines whether they need a warrant or not. They can just come in and swoop you, and they'll tell you it's part of the police act. So they just do what they want to do without the law coming in. So we need more clearer definitions surrounding some of our laws. That issue is not an MPP issue. It's not an NDC issue. It's an issue that's before the state. So we need to look at things from a unique viewpoint and stop this kind of putting in partisan tones into whatever we do. to the point that someone's light goes off. Our light situation is very bad. So maybe CD is failing. People tend to say, oh, when we were in power, CD was at 3 cities. I didn't bring you in to come and compare or do comparative politics. If there was an error in the past, that is why the past is gone. You were brought in to come and fix that error. So you do not keep on comparing your present error with the past error. Okay. And you do not have to be reminding individuals that, where were you 5 years ago when this was happening? This government has been in power for 5 solid years. Fix the Country did not start 5 years ago. So it's not something that was done deliberately to place pressure on the government. But we realize that there is no time or a better time to speak than now. That's why we are doing this.
That's interesting. Now, just in case you just joined us, we're engaging the Fix the Country campaigners or advocates on what is likely to become of the campaign in the aftermath of the arrest and detention of one of the key conveners, and I'm talking about Oliver Barker-Vormawo. And as you can tell, I mean, they're saying, well, look, they're determined, they're focused. I mean, it's not going to sidetrack them. They're unfazed, basically. So if you have any questions for them, please send us a message or a comment to 0500-25621, 0500-25621. Now, if any of these persons were your relative, friends, or any, would you advise them to keep the focus, or you'd ask them to stay off? Because it's becoming a little... Well, you know, you can call it a little murky and a little dangerous, being a member of the Fix the Campaign movement. So I don't know what advice you give them, but if you have any other questions you want to send to them, 0500-25621. That's the WhatsApp line for those of you watching who would want to send us a WhatsApp message. Now let's come back to the main issue. The main issue has to do with the arrest of Oliver. And as I did indicate, you're the one who broke the news, and the other media houses followed up. Felicity and Benjamin Darko and Ntiamoah Otumfuo and Otumfuo, why do you guys want to stage a coup?
Oh my goodness. First of all, we've never said we wanted to stage a coup. And if you look at the way Fix the Country has operated from the minute we started, we've always been following the law. When we initially wanted to do a protest, we sent the police our notice. They rejected it. They actually got an injunction against us. We went to the Supreme Court. We went to the High Court. We went through the process, all the legal processes. We could have just said, okay, you're giving us an injunction. We're still going to go on the protest anyway. But we didn't, because we need to set an example. If you're saying Fix the Country, you must lead by example. So we went through the legal processes. You know, every step of the way there's no way you can say we've fallen short of the law. So why would we suddenly want to stage a coup? Like, it's inconsistent with what we stand for. We completely appreciate the fact. And the reality is that even if you stage a coup today, that doesn't fix Ghana's problems. So if you stage a coup today, are all the young people going to be employed? Is there going to be suddenly water flowing through the taps? So you must address these issues from the root, and you can never address them through a coup. So first of all, that very idea that we are doing this, we want to stage a coup, or Oliver wants to stage, Oliver wants to stage a coup, we don't care. Of course, I can appreciate the fact. Is this interpretation that they've taken of Oliver's post, because that's where this is coming from, is an interpretation which is easy, which they want to take that interpretation because they needed something. It's like, ever since we started the movement, they've been waiting for a way. You know, they've tried. They came up with fixing the country. It didn't quite work. Even when we wanted to do the protest, they came up with the idea that we've gone and taken money from former President John Mahama, brought out some bogus invoice or whatever that we took money from him, which was fake. You know, it didn't work. So they've always been trying to find things which will stick. So finally, we've got something. And then it's like, they want to do a coup. Oh, Oliver's written it on Facebook.
Is that how you see it?
Of course, absolutely. And let's be honest, like, who doesn't think it's ridiculous that someone wants to do a coup and they announce it on their public social media page, knowing that things they write normally are even picked up by news agencies in general. Their everyday posts are picked up. Of course, security agencies are monitoring. You want to do a coup. And the whole idea of even getting a coup to be successful is surprise. You need the people to be surprised. You don't tell them, oh, I'm going to do a coup, and then you tell them, I'm coming. You're not in Ghana. You actually tell them, if you look through Oliver's post, you realize that since we started Fix the Country, Oliver has never put a post up saying he's coming to Ghana. He never does. He's always, even when he's coming, it's very few people, even within Fix the Country, that tells, I'm coming on such and such day. He tells you he's coming. He's got a meeting at the with the foreign ambassadors, and then you swoop him in and you're telling us you're doing surveillance. Let's be serious.
So the point is that this whole thing is a joke.
Absolutely, it's definitely. And how I know it's a joke and what reinforces the idea that it's a joke is because on Thursday, the police had a warrant to go and search premises that Oliver had frequented and whatever, and saying they're looking for stuff like bombs. So you arrest someone on Friday, so that was last week Friday, and it takes you 6 days. 6 days while they're in police custody and their lawyers are coming in, Fix the Country members are coming in there, fraternizing with the public, and it takes you 6 days to go and search whichever places they've frequented. And remember, Oliver hasn't been in Ghana since November. So whatever you're going to look for, he hasn't been there because you arrested him where? At the airport. And it took you 6 days before you go and do a search. You didn't go and do the search before you arrest someone. You know, in Ghana, like, we preempt. So you arrest them, keep them in the cell, and then 6 days later. So let's be honest, what criminal, after you arrest them, if they had drugs in their house, they're going to leave it there and not assume that you're going to ever search their place? Like, that's what shows that it's ridiculous, because if you really, the minute you arrested him straight away, you're doing a raid. So at the same time, you don't even give him time to even announce to the world that you don't give any time. So it just shows me that it's a sham. And it's like, now they need to kind of, so it's like you arrest them, oh, you want to do a coup, then now I need to find bombs. Like, you didn't have bombs, you didn't know where the bombs were, you didn't know where the supposed guns and whatever, because if in order for it to be a coup, you need some kind of, you can't just go in with your Facebook post, hey, this is a coup, I'm taking over. And you didn't have any of that, yet you still arrested the person. So now if the person even had that intention, which Oliver does not, even if they had that intention, now they know you're watching them. Wouldn't it be more sensible to do a covert operation where you surveil them? So even if it's 6 months, 3 months, 2 days, 10, you're taking your time. He comes to Ghana, you're seeing, who is he meeting with? Is he meeting with some, some hoodlums? And what kind of discussions are they having? Is he meeting with people who have arms? You're properly taking your time. So by the time you arrest him, you have all of this evidence that there's nothing that you can take away from it. Now, the police is allowing themselves to be used as stooges, and they're looking like a joke.
When Oliver put that post up on Facebook, I don't want to repeat it, but you know what I'm talking about. Did any of you reach out to him to say, be careful?
Actually,
did any of you reach out to him? Especially because based on what Felicity has said,
yes,
that clearly for her, it appears that the state has been looking to take you guys on. And it appears that Oliver gave them that oxygen for them to do what they're doing. So I'm asking the question that when Oliver posted that on the Facebook wall, whatever you call it, look, you guys now, the people are looking for us. Don't give them the reason to come for us. Did any of you bother to do that?
So when I saw the post, I think I read it because I turned on notifications for Oliver's page. Okay. So as soon as he posts something, I get a notification that he's posted something. When I saw it, I gave it like 30 minutes, and then I went back, I realized there was some huge reaction surrounding the post. So I texted him, I was like, why is your post being taken out of context?
Right.
And it was like...
You texted him?
Yeah, I texted him. Okay. It was like, Ghana, these people, they already know, they want to read something into it, so just allow them.
He said that?
Yeah, I texted him.
I see.
The context surrounding what Oliver posted is not even close to a coup d'etat.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not trying to create excuses.
Right. The matter is in court, so.
Yes, the statements were in two.
Right.
Yes. The first one was surrounding the e-levy, and then the second one will contain the word army.
Right.
The first statement was regards to the fact that Fix the Country and the International Lawyers Project got into an agreement that if the e-levy is passed, they will come to Ghana and then help her start a suit and then pass a bill through Parliament, using a member of Parliament, to repeal the levy. So that was a huge coup.
Oh, I get it now. I get it now. I get it. So that's more like a legal coup.
Exactly. So that is a huge coup.
Not the literal sense of the word.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm hearing this for the first time.
So with regards to the second part of the statement, it was the fact that we keep on getting issues with our security state agencies coming in where civilians are agitating.
Right.
Look at the Techiman incident, the one that happened in the northern region. You look at the Idra incident, and Oliver was the one leading the charge for justice to be brought to the Kaka case. And then you have on record a soldier sitting in front of a committee and saying that they shot to maim a crowd. And 2 human beings were killed, in addition to Kaka. And then you have the Attorney General's Department throwing a chicken $30,000 to be an equation for someone losing their loved one. So the value of life in Ghana here, if the security agents should kill you right now, is $35,000. So when that sense of money came out, and then I think even when we went into the meeting and the checks were issued, we pleaded with the department not to bring out the checks because we didn't want the public to even know how much was given because we were still pursuing the cause of fighting for justice for the deceased. We didn't want to say, oh, because he gave us money, then the case should just go to the graves. So that was the whole thing around that. So the second part of the post was made out of frustration and anger that the fact that the security agents are supposed to be the protectors of the motto of this country, its freedom and justice, are rather brought in to come and oppress and suppress the civilians into not talking or to shut up or to get, maybe go mute. So that infuriated him to use that second part of the post. But it's two different statements. The first one is not something that we should just literally say, it means coup d'etat, because he provided context to it, and it's right on his Facebook page. Right. So that was the context surrounding that. So on the set date that ABC News published the publication about Oliver trying to monger a coup in Ghana, a coup d'etat in Ghana, I went to the CID department personally to go and file a criminal complaint on behalf of Oliver. Yeah, because Oliver actually issued a statement in reaction to that front page story. So, and I think I have it here. Yeah, go ahead. I think I do have that story here. I submitted that so that the police knows that the statement or the comment on Facebook did not have the full French word coup d'etat, but only contains the French word coup. Right. And coup in French is not something that is thrown off the state because we have so many words that contains the word coup. So if someone says coup, you don't just assume that it's a coup d'etat. And for someone who is a legal person who has issued so many statements on his Facebook page condemning coup d'etat and military, even military presence in the midst of civilians, it should be the last person you should be looking at when you are trying to assume that someone in Ghana here is going to commit a coup. Remember, Fix the Country has been harassed by the police before. I personally was threatened by the police to be slapped, and that command was given from ACP Otumfuo, who is now a DCOP, at the TUC for his guys to harass me. My phone screen was cracked. I did not react. They said they would slap me. The only thing I told them was that I've seen your commander's name, and I've seen his rank, so if any one of you touches me, I'll drag you guys to court. That's what I did. Fix the Country has been harassed before. Police brought FPU tanks. We saw the water tanks. They were ready to even abuse us and to beat us into pulp. But we did not react. So even in the face of the police trying to instigate us to react, we did not. So to even think that Fix the Country is going to go towards the line or toe the line of doing a coup d'etat with what? People who don't even know how to control a toy gun. I see. That's interesting. Otumfuo, so Oliver was arrested at the airport. I don't know what time you heard about his arrest, and I think he touched down around 4 something, and he was arrested around 5:29 p.m. 4:29. 5:29. He touched down 5:29 p.m. He touched down in Ghana around 4:13, 4:20. Right, but then was arrested around 5 something. I'm sure he had to go through all the check-up procedures and all of that, the departure procedures. So that should be arrival procedures, and he was accosted by 2 or 3 armed men. They didn't identify themselves. Unidentified. And all they did was to say they arrested him. They didn't even say that. They didn't say anything. So what happened to him? Do you guys have a full account? They just grabbed him.
To me, it was a kidnap.
And handcuffed him.
Yeah, that's why we said he's been kidnapped.
He's kidnapped.
Yes, because I heard you say that.
That's the language I use, and it was very intentional because you don't approach someone and with arms like in an airport and without identifying yourself. Like, why are you plain clothed in the first place? And then, okay, you want to be plain because of your covert, okay. And then you don't identify. You arrest someone, you're supposed to tell them, I'm arresting you because of... tell him the reason why. Yeah. That's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. Marinda right. Yes. But did Oliver arrest them? Sorry, did he try to resist the arrest because he didn't know them? No. He didn't? No. He just tried to stop them from getting into his phone. Why do I have a feeling Oliver sort of foresaw this happening? Oh, he definitely did. He did? He definitely He knew this was going to happen. Exactly. So they threw him in the car and they took him to where?
So that is where the problem came from.
The airport. Okay. And he was tortured. He was tortured? Yes, beaten. For not allowing them, as in physically assaulted? Yes. For not allowing them access into his phone. And not just once, but twice. by one man who was identifying himself as Colonel. So one point at the airport, they administered beatings to him, and then they took him to another point in the airport, and then they administered more beatings to him for not allowing them access into his phone. Really? And then when they were done, it took them 5 full hours to deposit his body at Dashaman police station. So from 5 to 10 p.m.
Well, the deposit
so that is 5 hours
he's
of
not
torture.
Dead, he's still alive. You know, you mean they sent him to the Dashaman police cell?
I wouldn't say it's sent.
They deposited him.
Yes.
He's not dead. Stop that. Anyway, so that's where they kept him.
Yeah.
For how long?
So he got at 10 p.m. and we didn't hear from him until 6:30 p.m. the next day.
Right.
So that's when the police at Shaman called the...
When I come back, I'll tell you what the police have said with regards to his arrest. Because there are issues about whether there was somebody complained. They've told us something about that. And whether they followed due procedure. This is Inside Page. It gets interesting, doesn't it? My name is Morado. How to fix the campaign campaigners here. And stay tuned in. We'll be back. So welcome back. This is Inside Pages. We're having an exclusive interview with the Fix the Country campaigners. Felicity Nelson is here. She's a convener. And there's also Benjamin Darko, who is also a member, and also Otumfuo Ntiamoah, who is also a member of the Fix the Country campaigners. We're talking about what has happened to a key convener, that's Oliver Barker-Vormawo, who, as we speak, is in detention at the police cells for a comment he made on Facebook regarding coup. Now, we've been told what actually the coup means. It was actually supposed to be a legal coup, as the Fix the Country campaigners have told us. It wasn't meant to be a coup d'etat as we do in a way you topple a government. So that's, you're hearing it here first on Inside Pages. My name is Morado. Most of you have sent us messages. A lot of you have been sending us messages. Let me read this. This one is coming from Michael Jide from Pando. He says, for the Fix the Country, tell us if they are unpartisan. If they tell us they're unpartisan, it's a big lie because we can see where they're coming from. Oh, okay, that's interesting. And this one here says, the basic question has not been answered. How do you expect to achieve your goals? Is it continue to appeal to the politicians who you obviously despise? The arrest of Oliver Barker-Vormawo is more than justified. Things happening around us is enough to arrest him. I don't know what you mean by that. This one's from Nina. Says, please, good morning. If we want to fix our problems, we should fix ourselves and also our leadership too. Okay. Abbas says, Fix the Country is not a group, but it is for anyone, regardless of age, who thinks that this country ought to be a better place than it is now. And this one here from, it says, good morning to you, Moro, and your guests. No amount of equalization and intimidation will help this incompetent government. They voted into power to fix the country, period. I am SS Osman in Accra. So the WhatsApp line, as I we gave you earlier, it's 0500 05000 25621. So 0500 25621. That's the WhatsApp line. So back to the arrest of Oliver Barker-Vormawo. So Otumfuo, when Oliver was arrested, one of the things that came up was, so who is complaining, or who has actually filed a complaint with the police service about Oliver's activities? The police is now telling us that there's actually a complainant. We don't know who the complainant is, but they said there's a complainant.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied now, or you want to know who the complainant is?
I'll give this question to Ben.
Are you okay now? They said there's a complainant, yes. He lives in a shaman.
There should be a name. We don't know.
You want to know the person. Exactly. You want to know the person's name.
Exactly. It wasn't even declared in the police.
No, maybe the person. Maybe you'd go after him. I mean, you would criticize him for complaining about one of your key members, and that's why they may not be interested in revealing the person's identity.
You don't conceal that.
It's not something that has to be concealed. I agree with you.
In a state where normally most things are a bit sensitive and will help our democracy grow, most of them, or majority of them, are concealed.
Okay.
They are not allowed to come into the open. To the point that even when we started our case against the EC, we were told we should even publish it.
Okay.
Or give it to the media guys to even talk about it. To the point that even informing the public that Fix the Country is taking this step was enough for the EC to say, oh, you guys are putting us in the stage where people are going to abuse us or to hurl insults at us. So they also told the Chief Justice to also step aside. We believe that if you are pursuing something in the course of enriching our democracy, you don't have to be hiding your faces. So state the person, let us know who is doing this.
Right.
And the person who is pushing those complaints.
Right.
And his reasons for pushing that. Because in writing a police complaint, you need to give reasons why you're giving that complaint out.
Right.
When I went to the criminal, I've been roaming the CID a lot. When I go there, if I'm going to give a complaint, I give my reasons why I'm starting this complaint. I just don't say a Facebook post.
Right.
I give reasons to back why maybe I'm calling an investigation into a certain issue.
Okay.
So we need that person's name, and we need to even see the complaint that was issued
Right.
to the police. You don't just say someone issued as a shyman. And also, if someone issued a statement as a shyman, airport is not under the Tema Regional Police Command.
Okay.
So when he was arrested, we were expecting that the first place for him to be, so that his relatives and lawyers can get easy access to him, was the airport police station. We weren't expecting to see Oliver carried all the way from Accra to Ashaiman. So whatever happened, whether it was a police complaint or there was something there, it was a total flout of everything that we've laid down as a constitution. And as a country, you cannot say someone is going against the constitution and you yourself, you not practice it fully. As an institution that is as huge as a police service. So they know very well what the law says. They know very well what constitutes a legal arrest. And when those guys deposited Oliver at the police station, did the police stop them to ask them, where did you keep this guy and why are you bringing him to us?
Okay.
Did they stop them? Did they maybe keep them behind bars for us to come and meet them?
Okay.
No, because they flouted every right that was given or Oliver is supposed to have access to under this constitution. And it's something that could happen to me. It could happen to anyone else that today unidentified men could just swoop into your house, beat you and take you and go and deposit you somewhere else, and the police service is going to protect and back them, basically. So we want to know who issued that complaint and what the person's reasons were for issuing that complaint and whether it was enough reasons for a treason felony act to be placed on someone because of Facebook posts. We've seen worse than this and we've heard worse than that. We don't want to do comparative stuff, but as a human being, you do not just say, I want to do coup, and then police just come to swoop you. We've seen the E-levy debate. We have market women who said they'll do coup d'etat. They even stated clearly that no one has arrested that market woman. Because as a security force, we know very well that you are supposed to have surveillance tools. So you do your first things first before you swoop in I don't know how to even put it, as if we are under some police state. You just swoop in with total disregard of our laws, and then you just accost someone and then go and throw him somewhere else. We don't do that. We don't do that.
That's interesting. Now, then the question arises that the police again tell us that Oliver was being monitored for some time now. They mounted surveillance on him. And that was based on some complaints that they have had for some time now about his activities and his Facebook posts, etc., etc. And so it was based on that they decided to arrest him. Of course, beyond that recent "I'll stage a coup" post, but he has been involved. But the police doesn't tell us what exactly they mean by he's been involved in all kinds of activities and all kinds of things, and the reason they're arresting him. And so they knew he was coming to town on the 16th, and so they knew he was coming to town on that particular day. He arrived at the airport, and so nobody should say that Oliver was trying to play smart on them, but then they outsmarted him. Did you know, does the group know that Oliver's activities were being monitored, and of course that's of the group.
No,
and the fact that those activities pose a security threat to this country.
Well, okay. Do I know that we're being monitored? Yes. So we've had Benjamin is very good at IT, so you can even check if your phone calls are being diverted. And so my phone, a few of us, when we checked our phones, our calls are being diverted to certain numbers. And when you put them in, some of them come up as national security. If you put them in, it's Truecaller.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, so it's not surprising.
So basically, your conversations are being monitored.
Yes, it's not surprising to us. And I think, especially when you, as Martin Amudis, when you fight corruption fights back. So of course they're going to be monitoring you. And when you set out to become some kind of person who's an opponent, seen as an opponent of the government, you're asking for things to be fixed. They see you as an enemy of the state. So they have available to them all the state apparatus. They have national security, they have BNI, they have CID, they will definitely use those things to monitor you. So I'm not surprised. So I'm not surprised that they said they've been monitoring Oliver for some time. But regarding, so you were monitoring him for some time. He gets in, you take him on, and then you keep him for like. Why did you not allow him to have? If you're doing the right thing, my question to the police is, if you're doing the right thing, why would you keep someone for over 25 hours without allowing them to seek legal counsel? Because if you say you're arresting him because he wanted to do a coup and you want to defend the Constitution, this same Constitution tells us that if you're arrested, you have the right to seek legal counsel. So you cannot, on one hand, be claiming to be defending the Constitution when it works in your favor, whilst denying people of their rights, which are enshrined in the Constitution on the other hand. You know, and we shouldn't just keep looking at this based on Oliver. We should understand that this is something, if they can take someone like Oliver, who's front-facing, a public figure in somewhat, right, and take him, keep him for 25 hours, beat him, try and get access to his phone and all of this, what do you think is happening to the average Ghanaian? Can you imagine the number of times that Ghanaians are not allowed to seek legal counsel on an everyday basis, arrested on the side of the road on some bogus charge, taken on just because they were probably they didn't show the policeman enough respect, put in a cell, not allowed to contact anyone in their family, nobody knows where they are. Look at the number of times we've even found people killed. Look at what they did in Nasawase. The police killed 7 men. 7 men killed them and lied and said they were, what did they say? They were armed robbers.
Yes.
Until there was an investigation, we found out that the guys they didn't have any guns, nothing. So let's not assume that this police that we have here do not lie. Tiwa sat and told us that she knew where the missing girls were and they were alive, which was a damn lie. And at the time she was telling that lie, she knew it was a lie. And what happened after that lie? She got promoted. So let's not pretend that the police are some angels and that, you know, everything they say, so they come out with a statement that if the police, I'm putting it to the police today, if the police are saying that they contacted Oliver's lawyers or any of his family members before 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, they should bring out the evidence. They need to come on. They need to respect themselves. They need to respect themselves and stop lying and allowing themselves to, because if there's people behind the scenes pulling the strings, you are the public facing ones. So you're the ones who are you're being disrespected. Dan Parry came in, everyone is hailing him, and you're allowing your police service to be used in this way. Some random men can take someone and take them to a station. Who brought him to the station? I don't even care about let's say there is a complaint at a Shaman police station. Let's say someone genuinely made a complaint, because I can imagine someone saw the post and was alarmed. Let's say someone saw it and was alarmed because they didn't understand it. They made an interpretation of that post. That is okay, they made a complaint. But you can make a complaint, but why not follow due process? Why not follow due process? You detain someone for over 48 hours. As at Saturday morning, the police had already said that they're going to take him to court on Monday. So they had already made up their minds that they were going to completely ignore his right to be put before a judge within 48 hours. They had made their mind up about that. And this is something that has been happening to Ghanaians all the time. Until Oliver's case, I didn't even know that over the weekend, the police could the judges could actually sit on cases. I didn't even know.
The Chief Justice was not available to give...
First of all, that is not the process. So you think, so imagine if you have 500 criminals across the country, everyone's going to be calling the Chief Justice, hello, Chief Justice, can you please give me a judge? That is not the process. The registrar
First of all,
that's not the process. You have to go through the registrar of the courts. Yeah. They're the ones who are supposed to assign the judge. You don't go through the Chief Justice. Come on, police. Stop taking us for a joke. Like so every time there's a criminal who has to sit, you have to find a judge of the week and you're going to call the Chief Justice. So what if he's sick? What if he's unavailable? What if he's busy? So every minute he must have his phone on 24/7 just so he can wait for a call for the police to find him a judge. He must find a judge. The Chief Justice of the country should find a judge. Until he has all the judges' numbers. Now he's calling them. Hello, yeah? Where are you? Are you available? Come to court. No, I'm showing you how ridiculous it is. Yeah. So when the police comes out and tells us we couldn't get through to the Chief Justice, they and I know that is nonsense. Martin Pebu, when he took when he took them to court over this 48-hour, the Chief Justice in 2017 said 48 hours is 48 hours. He has had them bring cases before him, judges, over the weekend, on Saturdays, on public holidays. These are things that happen, and I think this information is so important for Ghanaians, because don't let them come put you in a cell on Friday and tell you can't see a judge until Sunday. They are breaching your rights.
Yes, you want to add something? Because I want to read some of the messages that have come through, yes. Because I'd like us to move the conversation forward. I mean, regardless of how you feel about what has happened, Oliver is in He's in cells. He's been charged with.
I have the detective corporal statement.
Okay.
That was issued before the courts
Right.
over here. In the statement, they said they've mounted surveillance that Oliver is trying to incite some members of the Fix the Country movement.
Right.
You said time and time again that Fix the Country has no members.
Right.
We are zero.
You don't have members?
We are zero and many. You can use the right word. We are legion.
I see.
We are all one, and we are not one. So we don't have members. We don't have any registered members.
So your point is Fix the Country is an ideology. It's not necessarily about membership.
No.
So you could be 20 today, tomorrow you could be 1 million.
Exactly. Inciting who?
That's interesting.
Inciting who? And also, when it came in, the only thing is said was the e-levy and the comment on Facebook. So what was the surveillance about? Was it prior to the comment on Facebook? Or was it just that comment?
Well, according to the police, it was prior to that particular
There's
Facebook
nothing
post.
like that shows anything of that sort in this. And they said investigation continues. If I arrested someone, the investigation is to carry him around, trying to traumatize his peers and friends, to the point that he went to a friend's house to go and ransack the place. Searching for what? That is not Oliver's residence. That is his friend's house. So you are now putting civilians and citizens through trauma just because you did not do your work before arresting someone. That is what the police is doing now. So it's the same way they could arrest me, and they will tell you, we saw this somewhere. Then after your arrest, they come to my dad's home, come and traumatize my dad, go to my mom's house, go and traumatize her, be moving around my family members, traumatizing them because they want something to back the arrest. Before you arrest someone, you need to make sure you have everything. We were in court. There was nothing there. Basically, it was just a Facebook post, which was vague. There was context provided, but the police decided not to read that because obviously they had premeditated whatever they wanted to do. And like Felicity said earlier on, you are not going to use the Chief Justice excuse to just think that we are just going to let this slide. They said before, when they issued the statement, that Monday, so they knew very well that they were going to go to the courts on Monday. And whether Chief Justice or knew, they knew they wanted to take him on Monday. So it took the police 65 solid hours to arraign Oliver before a court. That is a complete violation of whatever is contained in this. And whatever they are trying to say that they are protecting this. Because everything that this country does, no matter the institution, is supposed to respect whatever is written in this book. And the police service decided to throw away this whole document that they tell us they are protecting to do whatever they please and they feel like doing. And then in the end, they come and tell us, oh, police service, we follow due process. And we know and respect the law. We want to protect it. You want to protect something that you've thrown aside, and you are doing whatever you want to do. You do as you please. And when we talk, they'll tell you, why are you trying to come after the police service? You are not saints. You have a bad history. This is a time for you to be correcting that. So you cannot keep on making more mistakes. And when civilians talk, you just swoop in and then you carry them away. You've said something, there is no what? You don't have any facts on that. To the point that even civil issues are being treated as if someone is trying to place a Hiroshima atomic bomb in the midst of Ghana, where you swoop in and you just take journalists away for saying something that is not towards even the state or threatening the peace of this state. How many times have Ghanaians not heard that, oh, a state official has taken money to go and do this? We hear this every day. It doesn't threaten anyone's peace. So why then do you have to swoop in and be carrying journalists away and tell them that you are threatening the peace? What peace? If I hear that a state official has taken money to go and build a house, I'll never be threatened because I know it's something that happens on a daily basis. Right. So when someone threatens someone's peace, we know very well. There was an incident, I think either in the US or the UK, where someone said that their servant who was infected with COVID, he sent the servant to the supermarket to go and leak the products in the supermarket. That is public fear. You are inciting fear into the public. So then the police can come in and arrest you for creating that public fear. But not the fact that maybe a government official takes state money to go and build something, or he tell you are using state machine, or you are flying the state jet, then you just come in and arrest the person. Is the person that was mentioned in the statement, was he the one who started a civil suit? No. So now the police sit somewhere and determine what constitutes disturbing the peace in Ghana here. Right. Don't we understand English? Don't we know what the dictionary says?
Otumfuo, there's been talk about Oliver, and more specifically to where he probably is aligned politically. And we have heard commentators from the New Patriotic Party who have said that Oliver actually worked with the with the NDC administration, not sure whether it's the Mahama or Mills era, and that he was actually a consultant in what I'm not sure. We haven't had any response. Hard as we've tried, nobody's actually reacted to that allegation or to that claim or assertion. And so, in putting the pieces together, for these commentators, it is quite obvious that Oliver is, based on the fact that he's had something allegedly to do with the NDC administration, it is not far-fetched to assume conveniently that he's been used by the NDC. And in fact, some of them have even gone to the extent of saying he's been used by the former president, John Dramani Mahama. I don't know how you guys reacted when you heard this.
It's just a propaganda. You know, Africans, Ghanaians...
No, when you say it's a propaganda, that's not enough. Have you spoken to Oliver, for instance, when you visited him to ask him, did you ever work with the administration? For me, it's neither here nor there, but have you cross-checked it?
The thing is, the law is not working. That's one thing that we always say.
Let me come in, because Ntiamoah doesn't know Oliver prior
to fix the country.
He doesn't know prior to fix the country. Right. So Oliver, one of the main things they're saying is that he was an appointee. He was an appointee like at the presidency, which is false. This is completely false. Oliver worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Regional integration.
Yes. So on attachment at the presidency, and he worked on the constitutional review.
Commission.
Yes. So that's work he does, but he was never. And if they're saying, and I am putting it out today, if they're saying he was a political appointee, they should bring out his employment letter. Because surely you're at the presidency, you should have this information available, showing that this was his position. You know how recently when the MPP appointed 1,000 whatever people, and they put all the different positions, they should tell us what. So it's completely false. But the problem with Ghana, if someone goes to see you at a certain office, they don't ask questions and they make assumptions. And they say, and even at the time, if Oliver actually quit, Oliver left Ghana before the NDC was even out of power. He even left Ghana before then, because he was actually quite disillusioned, and I'm talking on a personal level, quite disillusioned with the NDC regime at the time. And myself and him used to criticize the NDC quite harshly. So this idea that he worked with Mahama. Working with Mahama doesn't mean, even if you have worked with someone, it doesn't mean you agree with them. It doesn't mean you're their party member
of that political party.
And again, I don't want us to go into that, because I say it's a distraction from the issues. It's a pure distraction. So I just want to put it on paper that Oliver was never a political appointee at the presidency. And if the MPP people are saying that he is, they should bring out the proof.
And one thing I would like to add is, you can see it clearly, whatever is happening now. If Oliver is being affiliated to some political party, he will be treated so special as some people are treating specially.
Right.
You get my point?
I understand.
Yeah, so Oliver is a main man himself. He's a man for the truth, a man for the law.
To be fair, he's been very harsh. He's been very critical, even on the NDC as well.
And look at how he's been fighting them. Like even when if you go on his page with the NDC especially, he's literally been on the warpath. So it's inconsistent. But the thing is, they need to, because if they can't put you down as NDC, they can't dismiss you. So they need to find a way to say you are NDC. Then they can dismiss everything you said, so that people stop listening to the valid things, the truth that you're speaking, because you're an NDC person.
Right. Good morning. I want to know if the new Oliver Vormawo was a presidential staffer, so somebody's asking that same question, under the ex-Mama government, and worked at the Jubilee House. Besides, they're telling us that the coup means something different, aside what they know is an insult to the intelligence of Ghanaians. They should make the Fix the Country devoid of partisan involvement. If so, it's not partisan anyway. Good morning. Oliver must be set free. This guy has fantastic ideas and must be engaged. Let's nurture talent and allow citizens to express themselves. Liman from Sunyani. And this one here is from Matthias in Tamale. He says, aftermath of Oliver Barker-Vormawo's arrest, Fix the Country remain non-aligned to any political party, and we remain focused. That's coming from Matthias. You know him? From Tamale. You guys seem to have a very big membership, because there's some Matthias guy in Tamale. He says the member of the Fix the Country. He's bought into the ideology.
Yes, the ideology.
Yes. This one here says, I am disappointed with the rank and file of the police service for their inability to comprehend the leader of Fix the Country movement. Thank God. I'm not over 80% friendship to social media. Ghana. Praise God. From his name is Praise God from Upper East Region. I'm not too clear what the with the messages. But this one says, please, your guest seems to know too much. They should respect every institution, and also Ghana can be fixed when we all fix ourselves together, and the leadership too. And this one here says, hello, listen, when you send me a message, please add your name and where you're texting me from. Otherwise, I won't read it. Today I'm reading because I'm being very nice and charitable. Please, the next time you send me a message, add your name and where you're texting me from. It's extremely important to me. Hello, I'd like to know what the Fix the Country blueprint for fixing Ghana is. The explanation of the lady on Oliver's statement on coup is shocking. She wants the state security to sit down and wait. Is this the way she wants the state security to be fixed? Are we safe? Kwamina from Cape Coast. Kwamina is back and it says, hello, I'd like to know, okay, so I've read this one already. Good morning, guys. This is Fred from Tema, Newtown. It really hurts me anytime I think about Ghana. Why do people always think of you saying the truth about what is happening in this country when you belong to another political party or you are an enemy to the state? Why don't they really look into what you're saying to see if really it is true or not? Why do politicians seem to have issues with anyone who says the truth? If they really have the country if they have the country in their heart, come to think of it, it is a movement. It's a movement for the betterment of the country. So why the distractions from the big men, politicians? God help us. And this one says, good morning, Moro. Please, I'm Stephen, watching you live from LA. Okay, LA, wireless. I like that. Yeah, wireless. Yeah, I like that. You know the way he's done is L.A. Yeah, okay, so wireless. He nearly got me. I thought he said it was one from Los Angeles. And it says, what to tell my brothers and sisters there that they shouldn't give up. They should keep it up. I'm supporting them with what they are doing. Michael from Kwando says the arrest of Oliver is important as the arrest of Abronya DC. Yes, arrest of Abronya DC. That's to tell you the state is working. Remember, Oliver is a fine lawyer. He knows law better than those in the studio. So they should stop what they're doing. That's coming. This one, okay, he doesn't add his name or her name. Watching you live from Trifo Praso, Central Region, says, keep pushing for us, the ordinary citizens. Politicians hate the truth. They're just against you people speaking out. My brothers and sisters in the Fix the Country Movement, keep pushing for ordinary Ghanaians are suffering out there. God bless you all. Gabriel from Droman Kese says, sir, good morning. I want to thank the Fix the Country conveners for their commitment in ensuring that our country sees the best it deserves, and to our leaders, they should bear in mind that once the cup is full, any added water will go waste, and no amount of intimidations will prevent the youth of this country to speak to issues in their own land. Ghana deserves better. The youth deserve better. God bless our homeland, Ghana. That's Gabriel. And this one, the messages of tons of them, tens and thousands of them, and hundreds of them. Good morning. I'm Gideon from Brekusu, Fufuo, I believe so, in the Ashanti region. Sometimes it's much disheartening to see political actors tormenting and putting citizens, journalists who are actually giving them the nod to serve. What I want these politicians to note is that hasty actions, especially from the police, must come to a halt and focus on content. Please, how did the lady know Oliver was a beating? They want to know how you got to know Oliver was beating. But she said she went to them. She's spoken to him. Good morning, sir. And says, good morning. Please tell them not to let them use this arrest to intimidate them, but they should be careful because these politicians can do anything for power. They're working for the people, not the government. The truth always sounds stupid in the ears of a fool. Joshua Avono from Tamale. And this one here says that these politicians are just trying all they can to silence the rising voices of the youth, but you know it won't work. Remember, power belongs to the people and not a few people. So I state that no amount of police and other security intimidation can stop us, the youth. It rather makes us stronger. Several comments similar to Oliver's comments have been made in many times, and these people are still walking freely. So why arrest them? Well, what's the name of this guy? Abronya DC, the Bono Regional chairman of the MPP, has been arrested. He's actually in court. Yeah. No, this one says that threats upon threats that some led to killing of journalists are all over us, and still such people are roaming about freely. IGP is not interested in all this stuff, but interested in Oliver's comments. We're all watching. But as we keep saying, nothing can ever stop us from saving this country from looters and criminals. Shalom, Director Brian from Kumasi. And this one here says that Mustafa from Tamale, please, my brothers and sisters from Fix the Country, please keep it up. The Almighty Almighty God will be with you. Good morning. My name is Dia Tohene Amenya, I believe. The current MP government is so desperate and intolerant on people who seem to challenge them. The price of petrol in Togo yesterday was 5 cedis. But in Ghana, which is an oil-producing country, it is 7.99. All these prices were taken from the total filling stations. But say it and see if the NPP recruited policemen will not come for you. Will not come for you. This one here is, hi, I'm Collins. It says, barbaric suit admirers leading this country. Barbaric suit admirers or something leading this country will eat fufu and preko soup, not realizing they are eating their families. Well, I know. You know what? Let me save some of the messages because they're just coming in, they're just flooding in. I'll take a short break. When I come, we'll look at the way forward because we need to know what the Fix the Country intends to do going forward. And how much of a blow has Oliver's arrest and detention had on the movement? We'll be back. Welcome back. This is Inside Pages. My name is Mo Rado. Thank you very much. All of you have been sending us tons of messages. It just tells me that you're very much interested in this subject matter of Fix the Country campaigners. Now, they're still here with us. We'll be wrapping up the next few minutes because we need to move on and talk about what's happening with the Member of Parliament for the Madina Lankwantana, who has actually warned or cautioned judges who are there to serve their political masters to be very cautious. Now we'll look into that matter. Now let me come back in house and wrap up with my conversation with them. So the last time you guys went to see was Oliver. There was a question asked before we went on break. It escaped me. But the last time you went to see Oliver, he's still on hunger strike.
No, he's no longer.
He's no longer on hunger strike. I'll say. So who's been feeding him?
Oh, we take food to him. Of course, it has to come from a secure source. Okay. You can't trust anyone.
Right. That's. I understand that. I understand that. But you're embarking on Free Oliver campaign, and you're also raising some funds to assist him. What are these funds going to be used for?
So the legal fees, the to and fro, even leaving, because most of these lawyers are based, like even in Accra, and there's quite a large legal team. So even if it comes to like transport, the rising cost of like petrol, going to court, doing this. So at the moment, that's like what we're using those monies for. Of course, his food, just to take care of him. Okay. Yeah.
Right. That's interesting. And how's the Free Oliver campaign going? Is it resonating with the public? Are the people sympathizing with him?
Yes.
Really? There's a guy here who's not sympathizing with him. He's called Nana Ntiamoah from Ablekuma Central. And she says, good morning, Moro. Felicity, please spare us this crap. Which rights does Oliver have to sit on Facebook and run state institutions down? You can sit on radio and TV and spew, well, I can't use that word. That's quite harsh. And Ntiamoah, stop that. And they say, and spew that blah, blah, blah. And you don't even have the decency to condemn your colleague for making treasonable comments. We know what you guys are up to, and we'll make sure the Lord deals with you. A little disappointed.
Yes.
I mean, you see, you're just confirming what's just said, that it appears there's already been a premeditated mindset to deal with them. And so
it's vindictive, petty.
Stop exactly. That. Deal with them how? I mean, anyway. So
they didn't even say deal with Oliver. I said deal with you. Yeah. So this is a collective thing. Do you understand? Then it doesn't just become an Oliver thing. You see, there's an agenda. Personal. Yeah, it's personal.
Dealing with someone means that you're not going to work with the law. You don't get it.
Well, you just told me about, alleging that he's been slapped and all of that. I mean, that's obviously not lawful. So, yeah. Anyway, so you're saying, I'm just asking you that, how is it resonating with the public? I mean, are people, tagging along? Are they interested?
Exactly.
Showing
Yes, it's
interest?
resonating.
Okay.
When we went to court on Monday,
okay,
I think there was a huge crowd in front of the police station.
Okay.
Those were not people we brought or we even sent our messages to.
Okay.
But for the mere fact that Oliver was there, people living right in Ashaiman thronged to the police area to the extent that the policemen had to form some barricades in front of the police station.
Right.
When I got there in the morning, due to the crowd, I think I saw 2 sniper shooters on top of the police station.
I see.
Yeah, so there were arrangements made by the police.
If you had misbehaved?
Yes.
They would have shot you?
Yes, basically. So I saw 2 sniper shooters on top of the police station. So resonating, yes. People know very well that we use the laws in Ghana here to suppress voices. So when there's one that comes out to speak, people back them up. So it's not like someone going to Ashaiman to go and say, today we are going to Ashaiman police, you go and crowd over there. These were people who came on their own to come and pick up cards and stuff that we place on the floor to chant that they should let Oliver go.
Okay.
So the message is resonating.
I see. Free Oliver.
Yes. Free
Hashtag.
Oliver. Yes. Also, to go a bit further, I think on that day, like there were some placards that were flying around over there. One of them that caught my attention was the French word coup du ciel.
What does that mean?
It means a chance from heaven.
Okay, a chance from heaven.
Yes.
Okay.
Or a cut of heaven.
Right.
So I think on the placard, the person wrote, Oliver is a coup du ciel to this democratic, to this flawed kleptocratic state we call Ghana.
Okay.
So if someone tells you a cut of heaven is Oliver, then it means that people have so much hope that this is someone who is not like those that were before him. So it strikes so much belief and hope into people that they came there. That's why I keep on saying, if the person said could be or the police saw coup, are they going to arrest him? Just because they saw coup on a placard?
Right.
So it's a word. If it's not used fully, it doesn't mean something.
Right.
So you need to get a context around it to predetermine what the person is trying to say.
No problem. I mean, once the matter is called, let's not delve into the details of the matter before court, because all of this will come up in court. But I want to know now, what's going to be the way forward?
The thing is,
we're
not just focused. So Oliver himself, actually, he doesn't even want us to spend too much time.
Yes, I was going to ask you that.
On him.
Yes.
Like in terms of freeing him, because he says he's okay. Like he's seen, because of course the police have already shown their hand. They've already started. They breached his human rights in 48. All of that. So he's testing the system, and it's also right now we're able to highlight it. So maybe it was happening to so many Ghanaians before, but because they didn't have a platform, nobody was paying attention. But today we're sitting here talking about how the police routinely breach the rights of citizens when they arrest them. Do you understand? So he doesn't want us to focus. So we're going to be going back to the Chief Justice because the 1 month that he gave us has actually, I'm sure, is elapsed. It's almost elapsing regarding the EC and the removal of the EC. So we're going back to that. We're going to be focusing on that campaign. Yes.
A luta continua.
Yeah, definitely.
You're not backing off.
And that's the whole idea why Fix the Country has never had a leader, because we want to ensure that you think, if you cut off the head, then everything else falls apart. But we have no leaders. Everyone's a convener. We're all equal. So even if you take 1 or 2 or 3 away, the movement keeps going because it's a movement for the people. So stuff like moving along with the EC. Yeah. Exactly. And you don't need one person. So without Oliver, we can still pursue these things. Even if he wasn't alive, we'll still be able to pursue these things. So like the RTI.
So it's not putting his partners in the works.
No, not at all. But we have to, if anything, for us, it's actually been an opportunity to revive our energy. Actually, because activism can get very tiring, especially in a system like ours, where there's a lot of people who don't appreciate. And they feel like, you're making noise, and you get so many attacks from people who support the current regime and stuff like that. So it's actually revived us, and then we're staying resolute, and we're going to be focusing. So like right now, the EC, because what's happening in SAU continues to be a complete aberration of our constitution.
I want to thank you very much for your time. I think it's been wonderful talking to you guys. I've learned a lot, actually. I've learned a lot about your activities and the concept and the ideology, and I can only wish you guys well. So, folks, that's where we draw the curtain on our conversation with the Fix the Country campaigners. Felicity Nelson is a member, is a convener, and then there's also Otumfuo in Ntiamoah. He's the chief linguist here this morning, even though he's not done his job as a linguist, but I like the way he's dressed. Very African and very Ghanaian. He's also a member of the Fix the Country campaigners, and also Benjamin Darko, he's the IT specialist, also a member of the group, and he tells us that actually what has happened to Oliver is actually giving some impetus to the movement, and that more and more people are joining. Perhaps I can confirm that, because just when I gave a WhatsApp number line. Look, I've received the most messages since I started this program. I've received more than 50. I can't even count. These are not people who are just repeating messages. These are different people. So yeah, perhaps it's gaining ground. Anyway, I want to thank you very much. So we're not going to move. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you very much.
We're not going to move to our next topic. Our next topic has to do with the commentary by the Member of Parliament for the Madina Lankwantana, and I'm talking about the Francis Xavier Sosu. He has some a word of caution for the judiciary. When I come back, I'll play those videotapes, and then we'll take the conversation from there. We'll speak to a private legal practitioner. Stay tuned in.
The Constitution guarantees your independence. It is incumbent upon you to act in all fairness to attain that independence. But if you allow yourself, and if I say if you allow yourself, and I definitely mean it, there are many judges who can easily allow themselves to be used for political gains. And I'm saying that if you are a judge, you have fidelity to the rule of law. You have fidelity to process. You have fidelity to precedent. You have fidelity to the 1992 Constitution, and not any individual, not any appointing institution or agency, not a political party. The system that we run in Ghana, when there is a major change in the executive power, there are major changes. So, and I made it very clear in the morning, and you must be prepared that once you continue to allow yourself to be used politically, then you must know that your position can never be guaranteed under a different regime. And that is very, very, in fact, it leaves without saying, you see, Obanyansafo, Yabonebe, Yankanasem.
So whether you are appointed by an NDC government or an MPP government, you join the unanimous decision in saying that this provision of this law is what? Contrary to the Constitution. Do you get my point? Then, in the middle, somehow the Supreme Court lost its way after the first years. And the judgments started becoming clearly on the lines of what? Party appointments. However, in recent years, the trend is changing again. If you look at the Abu Ramadan trend of cases and the Woyome trend of cases, the Supreme Court is finding its feet again, where it is giving more unanimous judgments on the basis of what? The law, and not the source of the appointment. However, we have to watch to see whether in these two cases, because of the public discussions about them, and the general feeling in Ghana, we need the Wyoming money back, or we need the Electoral Commission to conduct elections in a way that is transparent. Is it the public scrutiny that is getting the Supreme Court to get back on its feet and give unanimous judgments in favor of fidelity of the Constitution or otherwise? So, we all know that without the judiciary, our democracy will fail. So, improve it, we must. One line of improvement will be to acknowledge political decision-making by our Supreme Court and ensure that there is always a balance of ideological representation in that.
Speaking as a former director of the law school, I can tell you, that any comes at all, that when it comes to these things, the judges are not independent. The judges are not independent. When they are selected, they are, they have to kowtow the line of the person who empaneled them.
So you are trying to say that the decision to pass 120 is...
No, when students go to court, they will lose. And they will lose because the judge who will hear the case will be told what to do.
But I mean...
The judges... Yes, I know under Article 127 of the 1992 Constitution, independence of the judiciary is guaranteed. I'm telling you, as a lawyer and as a former director of the law school, that when the General Legal Counsel is taken to court, the judge who hear that case may not, be all that independent. So if students decide to take the General Legal Counsel to court 100 times, they will lose 100 times. The judge who hear the case is not going to consider the matter in controversy based on the available evidence in front of the judge. So the judge will do what he's been told to do, or she has been told to do.
Does that indicate that judges in Ghana are not independent?
In political matters, in legal education matters, I am saying that they are not bold. They are timorous. They can't bite. They can only back. Quote me. Then when they go to court, the chairperson of the council is also the Chief Justice. Therefore, the chairperson of the council will select the judge to hear the matter against the General Legal Council. Do you think you will win?
Sorry about that. So those are some video clips. You saw that of the Member of Parliament for Madina Lankwantanan speaking to my colleague Abdallah, and they sort of throw some more light on the comments he made. And also you saw that of Professor Raymond Atuguba, who is also a private legal practitioner, also talking about the fact that, look, judges sometimes make their decisions based on their political ideology. And that was Professor Ansari. Let's now speak to a private legal practitioner to find out whether indeed what the Member of Parliament has said, whether it's in contempt of the court, or indeed the Ghana Bar Association and the Association of Judges have been discriminatory in the way they've gone about their work. Lawyer Antiedu, good morning. Benjamin Antiedu, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on Inside Pages.
Good morning, my brother. You're welcome.
It's good to have you, sir.
Good to hear from you, too.
Right. Now, first of all, would you consider what the Member of Parliament, Francis Xavier Sosu, has said as a clear contempt of the court? I mean, based on your knowledge of the law.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, if I may rephrase it a bit, then to say whether or not it breaches any rule of conduct of lawyers, because right. I'm told that there was an attempt to refer it to the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council.
Right.
So for now, there has not been a suit in respect of contempt. So, but the point is that here we want to, I can only comment on the value of Honorable Sosu's statement in the light of the other two statements you've played. Okay. Hello?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. So in respect of that, then you will say that, yes, Honorable Sosu's comments were lighter in terms of being conditional and also not being quite definitive as the one we heard from Professor Atuguba and then Professor Ansari. They were even more categorical that this is this is their belief or their view that judges are not independent when it comes to certain determination of certain cases. But if you listen to Honorable Sosu's statement, I'm sure that what you just played was not the original interview he granted. But even if you listen to that original interview, you'll get a sense that it was more or less an advice or a caution to judges who may be doing that. That in his view, if you are a judge with all the clothing for independence and you defy the law and do consider other factors in determination of cases, then you'll be treated politically. And that, let's say, when there's a change in political leadership, then you may be sacrificed. But even that, and I've made a point that they were conditional and not so definitive if you compare to the two others by Professor Tuguba and Professor Ansari. But if you take what he said in context, then somebody will say that it gives some perception, any person listening to him and his capacity as the member of parliament, you know, as a leader, a political leader within a constituency, then people will have that belief that definitely it casts some slur on the independence of the judiciary and all that. But as I said on your News Night program, it was clear that definitely the comment by the Ghana Bar Association in particular was so much uncalled for, particularly when the bar owed first allegiance and duty to the honorable member who is a lawyer. Okay, so if a member of the bar association makes a comment, the first thing as the association that is there to protect the interests of lawyers and to ensure that there's discipline and all the institutions in our judicial system are protected, the first thing is to call the honorable member to maybe substantiate what his interview suggested, and if possible, even advise him to retract. But if you come as if you are now defending the other institution, and then the sort of words they use and all that. For the Association of Judges and Magistrates, you would think that, oh, yes, they have been hit directly. So even when they are saying something overboard, is to be expected. But the Ghana Bar Association shouldn't go there at all, or shouldn't have gone there at all. When such matters happen, if I make a statement, I have the belief, I have the power, the freedom of speech and expression to say that this person is corrupt, that person is not doing his work well. But the duty that I will have is to lead evidence to support that what I'm saying is true. So that is all that you owe. So nobody has the right to attack you when you share your views. The only thing is that, yes, you are telling us this, so show us the evidence that supports that. If not, apologize. I think that is the decency of freedom of speech and democracy in the country. Okay, so for anybody to attack you when you have not attacked the person, even when the person has attacked you, I think it's more decent to give a response or to say that, yes, it is untrue, so let the other person, substantiate or prove his allegations. And that, to me, should be the way forward. And then the question of equality before the law, that we are all equal before the law. So the one will wonder also why Professor Tuguba, for example, was not invited or was not referred to the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council, why Professor Ansansari was also not referred. Because you can hear that his statement was even more categorical that when it comes to specific cases, okay, the fact that, the judges, they swear the oath to dispense justice to all manner of persons without ill will or favor, okay, and to determine cases according to law and nothing else. The law is pure. It discards all other considerations. And that is why, that we don't even vote for the judges. There is a process. It's not an elective office, so that they can commit to the law and use the law to determine cases and nothing else. So if some people have the belief that something is going on, we should just call them to prove. Anas heard that there was this suspicion, but difficulty in getting evidence. He went into it and came out with a perception or maybe cases of corruption, and we all saw it. And that is the way we want things to go. But let's not, we don't know what a person has. We don't know whatever explanation the person can give. And then we just go out and we believe that we better protect the interests of somebody, so we do that. That is not right at all. Let's endure, the distasteful statement. I mean, distasteful not in the sense of being derogatory, but, truths that we don't want to hear. So if I sitting here, I have no basis to support the allegation that the judges are not independent. So I may not say that, but somebody says it. Let's ask that person to support it. Because the question I posed was, are you saying that if indeed, speaking now, Anabu Soso has the evidence, he shouldn't say it. He shouldn't say that some judges are not independent or they are political judges. If he has the evidence, are you saying that he cannot say that? He can say that, and he has a duty to say that, because we all have a duty to uphold and protect the Constitution of Ghana, which says that the judiciary should be independent.
Now, yes, Lord Benjamin Antiedu, this is not the first time we're hearing this comment. We've had, like you rightly said, it's a comment that's been made in the past. The Member of Parliament has made the same comment. Do you suppose that, look, should we get to the point where judges are now given as is done in the advanced countries, are given the room to, for instance, declare their ideological stance, like it's done in America, where judge says, well, I'm pro left or pro right, so that you, when the person makes a judgment, you're able to know the context or the perspective the person is coming from. Should we get to that point, or when you look at our democratic dispensation, our democracy hasn't matured to that point where it would allow judges to declare the ideological stance? Because whether it's a reality or it's a perception, this matter keeps coming up all the time about where judges stand politically and how that influences their decisions?
Yes, thank you for this question. The point is that, even in the states where some declaration of ideologies are given, it's not particularly on political affiliation or political stance. It is on specific matters. So if a judge says, I believe in capitalism, I believe in death penalty, I believe in that, those are declarations that are not political as such. But even that, I'm sure that, yes, you are saying probably they can do that because they have matured to a certain level and they have institutions that can counter the effects that may be harmful to their democracy. But you come to Ghana, for example, just imagine now that we don't even know which parties they support or they are affiliated to. Look at the suspicions and all that, and then your matter is going there from the other side. And at one point, I'm sure that you have one ideological side being more than the other. So if there's such a panel, and you are going before them, and let's say there's a panel dominated by, let's say, MPP or believers on the bench, definitely if you're an NDC person, then you go with the sense that you will not get justice. I think that is a level that we don't want to go. But the whole point, as Honorable Sosu has been making, is that the Constitution has created huge rooms and protections to secure the tenure and independence of the judiciary, of the judges in particular. And if you recount, even during all our military interventions, the judiciary has stayed, put. They have not been disturbed at all. Yes, there may be one or two things, but they've stayed, unlike the executive and the legislature that always suffer dissolutions or dismissals. Okay, so the judiciary is our last hope. That whenever everything else, you lose hope in everything else, that is a place you can run to. So there should not be any other considerations. Let everybody have the belief, the trust, the confidence that the judiciary is independent. And when I go there, if I have a matter, it's only the law that will be used to determine it. And I will accept the outcome because it is what the law says. That is the confidence that you need. And remember that even these things that we are discussing, they are very weighty issues. And I'm happy that Metro has taken it this far, because when you're even talking about investment, oil and gas investment and investment in any other area, the investor is thinking about one important factor, which is judicial independence. That I'm coming to your country to do business. Definitely, in course of business, disputes arise. Am I going to get fair judgment in your courts? Now, if you go through some of even international economic agreements, go and see. It's all arbitration, even in Europe, not even in Ghana. What does that tell you? That the people are losing confidence in your courts. You see, besides other considerations that go with the choice of venue for settlement of disputes, the performance of your judiciary is one of the important things, because the person can come and make all the money, but if at the end of the day a legal process can be used to take all the money from him or stop him from using the money, then what's the use? So the judicial independence and non-interference is a core developmental issue besides delivery of justice. So I think that they should not disclose their political affiliations. They have only one affiliation, and that affiliation is the fidelity to the law. Nothing else should interrupt that process. And so if you think that we don't have that, right, when at some point we question, right, the perception of corruption, yes, I think that there was evidence to that effect. So let's do more research and see, right, if we can also, support this with
right. Now, Lord Benjamin Antiedu, if you can do this in just 15 seconds, because I have to wrap up now. Now he's supposed to appear before, a complaint has been filed before the General Legal Counsel. Obviously, he's going to be invited. The MP has said he is prepared to lose his certificate that enables him to practice as a lawyer, if it means he has to go out there and say, you are MPP, you are MPP, you are NDC. He's prepared to do that. You have the Chief Justice, who is the head of the General Legal Counsel. Will the MP survive?
That's a good question, because you want to be fast. Yeah, the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Counsel, That is where it's going, not the entirety of the General Legal Council.
Right.
So, and that the CJ is not the chair.
Right.
But like, no matter what, we expect every institution, whether administrative tribunal or the court, to be just and fair.
Okay.
So yes, you should have fairness, but he is saying that, you know, one of the sanctions you may get is debarment. Your name may be removed from the roll of lawyers.
Okay.
So, but he is saying that yes, he has the evidence, or he's quite confident in what he said. So let's see how the process goes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Lord Benjamin Antiedu, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Have a good day. Thank you.
Yes, and you're welcome. Bye.
So, folks, that's where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Inside Pages on Metro Television. My name is Moro Adu. Unfortunately, I couldn't read all your messages. I'm sorry about that. I'm hoping the next week Saturday when I come your way again, I'll be able to read the messages. I want to thank the technical team and the production team for a yeoman's job. Thank you very much for watching. Another edition of Inside Pages, same time Saturday, 8 o'clock. I will be right back. Have a good day. Bye-bye.